Welcome back to Caterpillar Summer as we read chapters 21 through 23. Okay, let's begin. Hot peanut butter breath clouded on Cat's left cheek. Hello, hello, Caterpillar. Cat opened her eyes. Chicken's face was an inch from hers. She buried her head under the pillow. She wanted her dream back, the zing of her fishing reel in her hands. He tapped her arm. Caterpillar, it's me, Chicken. Cat sighed, I know who it is. Mommy is coming. Cat peeked out from under the pillow, but not now. Tonight, when we're asleep. I know that. Chicken skipped out of the room. Cat couldn't wait to see Mom, who had promised they'd go fishing. Cat had a plan. Right as they headed out the door, she'll invite Macon. That way Mom couldn't say no. And once they were on the pier together, Mom would remember how much fun, how much she loved fishing, and how much she loved Macon. Everything would be forgiven when the three of them were side by side. Cat joined Chicken for cereal and orange juice. As they were finishing up, there was a knock at the door. When she opened it up, Harriet and Nettie stood there. He waved to Chicken. Hey, you guys, said Cat. Hey, Cat, want to go to the park? Asked Harriet. Sure, said Cat. Cat took his bowl to the sink. Me too. Cat helped Chicken find his shoes, and they went down the white wooden staircase. Right away, Cat noticed something was missing. Where's the sign? The stone house sign wasn't on the hooks. John Harvey better not have taken it. Cat, glancing around, saw Macon stacking scrap wood outside the workshop. Do you know what happened to the sign? She asked. Needed fixing, said Macon. Did it get a crack in it, Mr. Macon? Harriet asked. Said Macon. Now, you four be careful on your walk. Lots of cars out there today with Independence Day traffic. Let's set out together on Ocean Road. Macon was right. The streets were a mess, but sidewalks were okay. At the park, Needy and Chicken ran to the sandbox. Without speaking, Cat and Harriet headed in the same direction. At some point, they had become the type of friends who knew when a good swing was required. They picked two side by side and were quiet as they pumped. Before long, they were both swinging high. Cat looked over at Harriet, ponytail flying behind her. They would be friends if Harriet lived in San Francisco. Cat was sure of it. Cat gripped the chains and leaned backward, so she saw only sky. Time passed differently here on the island. A day here felt like a week or even a month in her normal life. She couldn't believe that 3 weeks ago she had never heard of this place, but now she had memories wherever she looked. The gleaming yellow bicycle, clouds of flour flying through the air, sea glass and shark teeth fishing with Harriet and Macon, and Chicken, too. He loved the green plastic laundry basket and finding beach treasures. The way he leaned into Lily, how he listened to Macon. Uh-oh, said Harriet. Cat snapped her head back, immediately looking for Chicken. He ran in a knot of other kids, chased by a blond boy in a bright orange shirt. Cat looked closer. Is that who I think it is? John Harvey led the little kids in an elaborate game of tag. It looked like freeze tag, but sometimes kids would hold each other's hands and run around connected like that. It must be something kind of like a North Carolina tag. Chicken may not have known the rules, but he was running and laughing with the group. Cat skidded the swing to a stop, keeping her eyes on John Harvey. She couldn't believe it was him. He was careful with the little kids. He smiled a real smile. Not mean smirk Cat was used to. A little girl with a little bow pulled the hem of John Harvey's shirt. I got you. Now you have to push. All the kids screamed with happiness. They piled on the merry-go-round. Chicken, with his big eyes and a bigger grin, sat on the edge. It made a screech sound. as it turned on one spin. John Harvey jumped on and rode standing up, not holding on to anything. Show off, said Harriet. Chicken saw the girls and raised his hand to wave. Cat didn't see what happened, but the next moment he landed on the ground. The spinning metal edge whirled inches from his head. Cat leaped off the swing. Chicken, drop and roll. He gazed at her in confusion. Then a foot thwacked him in the eye. He rolled onto his back. John Harvey jumped off and held tight to the railing, stopping the merry-go-round with a jerk. He ran to Chicken and lifted him to standing. Cat got there a second later and pulled Chicken away. He stood still and breathed in hiccuping breaths. Cat glared at John Harvey. Don't touch my brother. He put his hands up and stepped away. Cat took a step toward him. You hurt him. That sneer was back again. I didn't. Then who did? The girl with the bow stepped forward. I think it was my foot by accident. Cat leaped down to wipe Chicken's face, but he pushed her hands away. No, Caterpillar. Chicken, she asked, what's wrong? She wondered if his face had been bruised when he fell. Chicken glared at her. It's like the library. Maybe he did get hit in the head because he wasn't making sense. Chicken crossed his arms and fixed her with a furious expression. Why are you so mad? His thoughts jumped around so fast, Cat couldn't keep up. Mad at who? At him. Chicken pointed to John Harvey. It was an accident, like when I hurt Needy at the library. That was different, Cat started, but he shrugged her off. I'm going to play, he said, heading right back to the merry-go-round. Cat was stunned. She looked at her brother, then at John Harvey. Cat had never been so angry with her. A bright orange pickup truck came to stop alongside the park. The side read, you would think I guess the side of the truck. The side of the truck read Dawson Mini Golf. From the side window, Dixie stuck out her head. A teenage boy leaned out the window. What the heck are you doing? John Harvey's sneer faded. Nothing. Dad sent you to do something. Did you get it done? John Harvey stalked over to the pickup, muttering, then stop wasting time. We got work to do. John Harvey put his hand on the side of the truck and leaped in the back. The engine roared as the pickup drove away. John Harvey didn't have younger siblings, so he had no reason to be at the park. Maybe he was hiding from those brothers of his. If she had brothers like that, she'd hide from them too. Maybe he liked to play, to be nice to little kids. It was a possibility. But 15 minutes of being nice didn't erase all the times he'd been mean. Chicken lay flat on the merry-go-round as it spun creakily. It wasn't easy to keep him safe. Even when she was right there, he found a way to get her. But he'd been mad when she tried to help him. Clearly, she wasn't the only one who was changing this summer. Chapter 22. Cat got out milk and eggs while Lily measured dry ingredients. Mom's welcome breakfast would be waffles. Cat cracked eggs like Daddy had taught her, then whisked. She was surprised to realize she'd missed the rhythm of cooking, the tidy feeling of ingredients coming together. She liked the way the batter sizzled on the waffle iron. When she heard Mom on the stairs, she ran to hug her. Mom, I tried to wait up to see you last night, but I fell asleep. That's okay. Mom kissed the top of her head. I'm happy to see you now. I'm making waffles, said Cat. Mom made her plate. They smelled delicious, Cat. Thank you. Chicken padded into the kitchen and climbed into Mom's lap. Hey, sleepyhead, she said, squeezing him. What should we do today? Cat distracted, looking over at Mom as she pulled another waffle from the iron. Her finger accidentally touched the hot surface. Ow! She put her finger in her mouth. I thought we said fishing. Mom took a bite and swallowed. I didn't think that was a set plan. Kat looked at her in disbelief. I was pretty sure we said fishing. Let's do something else. How about ice cream? Yes, said Chicken. I wanted time with you and me, said Kat. And Macon. Mom wasn't listening. Or, hey, how about boogie boarding? I bet you haven't done that yet. The whole plan was crumbling. If Mom wouldn't go fishing, Kat couldn't get Mom and Macon together. But maybe if she agreed to Mom's plan, Mom would go fishing later. All right, Kat said, boogie boarding. They got in swimsuits and went downstairs. Mom rummaged in the storage area until she found 2 boogie boards. They walked to the water's edge and waited until the shore was far away. Waves are choppy today, huh? Mom asked. Kat was about to agree when a wave pounded over her head. She lost her grip on the board and dunked under. She pushed to the surface. You got clobbered, said Mom. Are you all right? Kat caught her breath. I'm not good at this. Don't say that, said Mom. You're trying, which means you're already better than everyone who never left the shore. She helped Kat climb on her board again. See how the waves crest? See the pattern? Asked Mom. Don't rush. See what the ocean has for you today. Kat couldn't help but smile. That patient teaching voice reminded her of someone else. You sound like Macon. Mom's eyes narrowed. How so? Kat winced. Mom didn't think being like Macon was a good thing. He's teaching me to fish. Mom paused and Kat thought she was angry. But after a moment, Mom's face brightened. That's perfect then. You don't need me to take you. That was the last thing Kat wanted to hear. I still need you, she said. Kat wanted more. She wanted a promise. But Mom was shouting, That is it. That is the one. Kick, Kat, kick. The wave was cresting, and Kat was in the right place to reach it. With 3 strong kicks, she caught the wave alongside Mom, and they rode on the way to shore. It was better than any roller coaster. It was so fun that Kat put aside her plan. They spent hours in the waves until they had enough. Chapter 23. Make sure that was it. Yes. Chapter 23. Kat and Harriet waved their way through the crowds. People filled every inch of the sidewalk and square. Red, white, and blue decorations covered the shops. The air smelled of popcorn, sugar, and sunscreen. I know you said lots of people come for the parade, said Kat, but this is ridiculous. The bridge backs up for miles on parade day. Tourists. At least once they close the bridge tomorrow. Tomorrow's fireworks will be island people only, said Harriet. Kat grinned. She was an island person too. Harriet found a spot by the judging stand. Patriotic music poured from the speakers. This is the perfect place to sit. Marchers do their best stuff to impress the judges. Little kids danced in the closed-off street while volunteers tried to relocate them to the sidewalk. Something crinkled against Kat's head. Hello, Caterpillar. Chicken tapped her with a foil pinwheel. Chicken, where's Mom? Kat twisted around. Mom waved from several rows away. He wanted to be with you. Kat and Harriet scooted over. He squeezed in. Parade, 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 he chanted, his foil pinwheel spinning. Easy, Chicken, said Kat. She wanted to ask Mom if Chicken could go back to her. She turned her head and saw John Harvey behind them. She poked Harriet in the side and nodded her head sideways. Harriet peeked over her shoulder. Why? She whispered. Who? Chicken said loudly. Who were you talking about? Hush, said Kat. It's about to start. First came the old-fashioned car with the Grand Marshal. As it approached, Kat realized 2 people were riding in it. 2 people she knew, Miss Willis and Dean from the bait shop. and they were holding hands. 3 bulldozers puttered by in a row, decorated with patriotic streamers. Cub Scouts and Girl Scouts carried flags. Then came the fire trucks, 4 of them, with lights flashing. As at the judging stand they stopped. Firefighters hopped out and tossed handfuls of candy into the crowds. Everyone stood to cheer and grab at the sweets. Then the sirens started. At such a close range, the sound was unbearable. The sound cycled, screeching and screaming so loud that Cat couldn't hear anything else. The crowd cheered and pushed forward. Each time more candy was thrown, Cat reached up to try to catch some, but an elbow jabbed her in the back. John Harvey, he opened his mouth and said something, but Cat couldn't hear. "What?" asked Cat. John Harvey pointed at Chicken. "What's wrong with him?" "What do you mean, what's wrong with him?" "There's nothing wrong with him. He might be a little different, but..." "Cat," Harriet said, grabbing his arm. "Look." Chicken's hands was over his ears and his face looked frozen, like a scream was trying to find its way out. Tears flowed down his cheeks. "The sirens, are they too loud?" Cat put an arm around him and scanned the crowd for Mom. She looked at Harriet, who was frowning, worried. "We can't move him. Too crowded," said Harriet, talking directly in Cat's ear. Getting through the crowd would be almost impossible. They were stuck. Usually when Chicken needed Cat, her brain took over, generating Chicken helping options like a supercomputer. But that day, there was a giant blank. His entire body was rigid, every muscle clenched, and her brain was on lockdown too. She leaned down. It's okay, she murmured. He couldn't hear her, not over the sirens and past his hands that tried so hard to block out the world. But it was all she could think of to do. "Mom could find us soon. Mom, come find us soon." Finally, the fire trucks rolled on. The sirens still screamed, but soon it would be over. Cat relaxed her arm around her brother, but Chicken didn't know that. He wrenched away, stepped over the curb, and bolted toward the truck. Cat raced after him. Her brain moved faster than her body as she calculated the speed of the truck, the velocity of her brother, and the precise moment to grab him before he got squashed. With seconds to spare, she leaped and grabbed him around the elbow. She yanked him back to their seats. "Sit here," she said firmly as possible. "Do not move." She wrapped her fingers around her forehead. He'd better get used to it because she was going to hold him that way for the entire afternoon. The fire trucks rolled on and the sirens faded. Chicken let out a deep breath, like he'd been holding it the whole time. "Thank goodness," said Harriet. Cat dabbed at Chicken's face with the edge of her shirt. "You're all right," she said to him as she started to return to himself. A float with baby sea turtles approached, and the crowd cheered again. Cat, Chicken, and Harriet stayed in their spots on the curb as the rest of the parade streamed by. They saw golf carts with balloons, motorcycles, streamers, 3 French bulldogs wearing flag bandanas, and a candy apple red convertible with Miss Gingerbread Island waving at the crowd. A marching band stopped at the judges' table. Cat held Chicken extra tight, but the music didn't bother him. When it was over, John Harvey disappeared into the crowd. Cat, Chicken, and Harriet stayed where they were. Mom met with them with 4 cups of pink lemonade. "Cheers," she said, clinking against their plastic cups breezily. "How was it?" "What a question." Cat tipped up her cup so she wouldn't have to answer right away. She didn't know how to explain what had happened with the fire trucks. She knew she'd get in trouble for not watching Chicken closely enough. "Fine," she answered. "This lemonade sure is good," Miss Gladwell said. Harriet. "What about you, Chicken?" said Mom. "What did you think?" Chicken lowered his cup and wiped his mouth. If Chicken told, Cat would be in serious trouble. "I like the float with the sharks," he said. "I also like the dogs wearing clothes." He wasn't going to tell. Cat crunched her lemonade ice happily and said mental thank yous to Harriet for not blabbing, to Chicken for not being any quicker, to the driver of the truck, and one to John Harvey when he pointed at Chicken. She thought John Harvey was being rude. Maybe he was, or maybe he had been the one to see Chicken needed help. She'd never admit it, but she owed him either way. Tune in next time.